G'day, Scott here from Agile Performance. Today I'm very proud to introduce our latest offering for the Mk3 Supra. This is a billet front knuckle. This is a drop knuckle. It is designed to improve the vehicle's handling through drifting, circuit racing, and potentially have some benefits in the drag racing field as well. So we've specifically designed these so that they actually work with the factory arms using the factory tapers for the ball joints. So then it will also work with our arms, our adjustable arms, in the factory length or the extended length option. So to make this a drop knuckle, we have raised the wheel bearing 20mm, and this will allow your car to sit lower without negatively affecting your camber curve or your roll center, so everything with your arms remains in the correct geometry. One thing to note, that you will need to double check your base height of your suspension once you're done, because this will lower the car further than factory. So the amount of lock available is highly dependent on your wheel selection and your arm selection. On my own personal vehicle, I run the extended arms from us, and I am achieving approximately 66 degrees of angle. I am, however, still utilising the lock stops to limit this, so there may be a little bit more on the table. So this is a multi-piece design. It's machined from 7000 series billet aluminium, hard anodized. We've made this into a multi-piece design so that we can change out the brake options. This here is currently spec'd for Mk4 Supra brakes. You could change it to Mk3 Supra brakes. Also, the plates for the steering arm is in dual shear. They are changeable as well, so you can change out to adjust your Ackerman or your steering ratio. And then the adapter attaches to the factory inner tie rod. So the wheel bearing we've equipped this with is from a second generation Lexus IS. So this is a bolt-on wheel bearing. It does not, unfortunately, work with the factory Mk3 Supra ABS, but it does, however, have a speed sensor on it if you wish to use this with an aftermarket ECU for traction control or other such things you'd like to add to the vehicle. So one other thing we've added to these knuckles is a lock stop. Now it's quite important to actually have lock stops to be able to set up when you're drifting, because there's nothing worse than having either your wheels or your tyre rub on your arms and slow down that wheel in particular, and it might make you spin. So these are a very important thing to set up, and we'll show you how it works on the other side now. So this is how you'll set it up on our arms, either extended or standard length, doesn't matter. It'll hit against there. You can adjust this in and out so that you have your clearance set up properly so your wheels don't hit anything. So with this IS wheel bearing, it is 5x114, and the centre bore is already exactly the same as the Mk4 Supra. So if you were to run the Mk4 Supra brakes, everything would go on as designed. We have moved the caliper to the front, however, due to, I found on my personal vehicle, I've been running these for a while, I used to have clearance issues with the caliper touching the shock on maximum lock. On the front side, we have far more clearance, so that's why we've moved it over there. However, if you want to run the Mk3 Supra brakes, if you are still running the factory calipers, you will need to grind a little bit in here for some clearance issue on the caliper. There's plenty of meat on there to take some off, but it won't fit as is. And you'll also need to change the hub centre bore to suit the Mk3 Supra. You can either machine down the hub or machine out your rotors. If you purchase the wheel bearings through us and you want to run a Mk3 Supra rotor, we can machine those hubs for you. With this kit, we've optimized the tie rod height to get the least amount of bump steer possible. We also have 3 plates available, standard length or reduced length for more steering angle, as well as a couple of different Ackerman options. And if you wish to, you could make your own plates as well, so you could play around with that if you have a certain feel that you're going for that you would like to achieve. One more advantage of moving to a billet knuckle is the weight. So this whole unit fully loaded with the wheel bearing, you save 2 kg per knuckle. So here we have these on my personal drift car. So you can see I've got the Mk4 Supra 4 pots on there. I'll spin her around. She's got a fair amount of lock on her. So as you can see, I've got the lock stops set up if you try and come in there. So they are adjustable. How you're going to have it set is entirely up to your own setup. I have a 18 by 8.5 plus 30s on here with a 15mm spacer. So it all depends on what front wheels you want to run. and what arms you want to run. So this car obviously has the extended uppers and lowers that we offer, giving the most amount of clearance. We also obviously have a standard length version. You won't have as much clearance as this because the track width helps get the wheel out, but you can set it to wherever you need to, and ideally you'd take your shock out and you go through your range of motion and you'd set it so that it doesn't touch anywhere, and that'll keep things pretty happy and you won't have any rubbing issues. We're very proud of these and we're really looking forward to having you guys run them too. I've been running these on my personal vehicle for a while now, and I felt it's really transformed the handling of the vehicle, and it just made it a much more competitive vehicle to drive. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to get in touch with us, you can look through Facebook, Instagram, or website. Links will be down below for pricing and shipping quotes. International shipping is always available.